So again, I'm gonna have my body layer here and my eyeball layer. Notice how the layer that is not active is no longer unlocked, but it's locked. All right. Remember that your active layer is highlighted green on your timeline. Okay. Let me go ahead and make prepare my materials. I'm not gonna use this one how it is. I'm gonna change it to. I'm gonna leave it how it is, and I'm gonna change the settings to line, base color. I'm gonna put it into a dark red. This one is going to be a yellow right here. Solid line right here. All right. This one I am going to change it into a let's see here, square right here. Fill. I'm gonna make this into a darker red. That's about good. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead under my frame one. All right, that's gonna be my first drawing. I'm gonna go ahead and draw my design. Okay, again, I'm gonna do a simple creature design. All right, nothing we haven't done before. All right. Go ahead and select your main material here. And let's see what. Let me think about what I want to make. So let me adjust that. Let me adjust the radius. Let me change my brush. How about that? Let's see here. Pen. Yep, better. Let me change my radius to be pixels. Yep. 150 pixels should be good. Right. I'm just gonna go ahead and doing it right here. There we go. And real quickly, I'm gonna go to sculpt mode and I'm gonna go ahead and click on my smooth brush right here. Smooth that out, smooth this out right here. Smooth that out, smooth that out. Back to my draw mode. Switch my material. Let's see here. There we go. And switch that into. There we go. Negative. Let me go ahead and switch into my F ink. Yep. But it needs to be thicker. Let me put it 150 again. This part right here is more subjective, okay? So this is more the creative portion. So feel free to do more of what you want to do with it, all right? But give me something cool looking, okay? There we go. My eyeball right there. Let me go ahead. That's a little bit off center. Let me go to edit mode, select everything right here. Use my move tool to move it to the center right here. There we go. Go into my draw mode again. I'm gonna switch layers. I'm gonna go to the body one and I'm gonna go ahead and draw the body of my character. There we go. Switch my material. And got those squid tentacles. There we go. Quiet down, please. And add some shadows here. Just remember, good doesn't have to be complicated, okay? Make something cool, but it doesn't have to be too complicated. There, so we have the eye and the body, right? We have frame 1, all right? If we go here to render image right here, this is what it'll be rendered out. See that? Perfect. Now this monster is gonna walk around, right? Like right here. So what I'm gonna do is, for each layer, right, I'm gonna start to animate it basically, right? So I have 6 here, so 1, 2, 3. So this right here and this right here, all right? What I'm gonna do here is, so what I'm gonna do here is, again, I'm gonna switch over to edit mode. I'm going to grab the head, and since I have the auto lock on for my layers, I'm not selecting by accident the body, all right? So this one right here, all right, I'm gonna keyframe it, all right? So what I need to do is just press I, and I'm just gonna click on duplicate active keyframe, right? So it's gonna just duplicate that keyframe, all right? Now here on 3 and 4, right, I'm gonna keyframe it down. So what I'm doing here is an animation, a loop animation, right? So it's gonna be basically floating in the air. So frame 1, it starts there, and frame 6 is gonna end at the same spot, okay? And then it's gonna do its animation in the middle, okay? So I'm gonna push it down a little bit here. There we go. In here, I'm gonna go ahead and press I and click I on my viewport, because you get different options, and click duplicate active layer. There we go. And this one right here, I'm gonna put it in between those two, and I'm gonna put it in between those two. So when I press play now, I have my little animation. Look at that. Now for my body animation right here, I want it to be a little bit offset, right? So I don't want it to be moving with the body, all right? So what I'm gonna do is, it's gonna be basically 1 frame off, okay? So what I'm gonna do is, this frame right here is gonna go here. No, this frame's gonna stay here. And then this right here is gonna be a copy of the previous frame. And this is just how I'm doing my character. How you wanna do your keyframes, your choice, all right? Because depending on your character. I duplicate active keyframe. There we go. And then it's gonna go down. So here is where it's gonna go down, right here. This one's gonna be duplicated as well. I'm gonna click I and duplicate active keyframe, active layer. All right. Now I choose active layer because I only wanna keyframe this layer. All right. I don't wanna duplicate again the other layer. All right. So we're only working on this layer right now. Right. And this one right here. So this keyframe right here is gonna be here. There we go. And this one right here is gonna go back up later. So I'm gonna put it right here. There we go, right here. And if I press play, we have an offset animation. There we go. Look at that. Now, I didn't even have to draw 6 times. I just draw once, all right? If you want to do your animations one by one, like specific drawing, you can. Or you can just make one really good drawing and just do this type of effects, all right? Another way that you can do it is separating all your different body parts into different layers. Draw it once, and you can move those different layers around, okay? So let's say my body here, right? I want it to be here on keyframe 1 and then on keyframe 2 or 3, whatever. I want the next example, all right? Under edit mode mainly, this is where you will do this, all right? Edit mode, because you have your move, rotate, and scale tools here. You can actually move around this object, okay? And even a cooler thing that we can actually do is this. We can actually set the pivot point, right? Because my move tool, let me select the body right here, right? This is my body right here, right? The pivot point right here, if I rotate it, using that pivot point, it rotates from the center, right? But I can change that pivot point, right? By doing this. I can have my pivot point be this one right here, transform pivot point. This little chain looking icon right here, the transform pivot point, I can actually change it to be a 3D, the 3D cursor, which is that floating point that we see floating around. This right here, the cursor icon right here. And we can actually change it by activating this cursor icon, clicking on the spot that we want it to be. Let's say I click here at the very top, right here, where my mouse is right here, right? And you won't be able to see it on when I click. But when you switch over to your move tool, your pivot point is there. Look at that. Or my rotate tool. So I can actually rotate it like this. So imagine that being your arm, okay? Right, you can actually change the pivot point by adjusting that. Look at that, all right? Or that, all right? You can stick to a very simple method, all right? Now we're set, okay? So let me say that like I'm finished with my character right now, and I can go back to object mode, because in object mode, I can actually start to see another part of the process of making this, right? Which is the effects panel. We've never been to the effects panel before, but here we have different effects we can add. We can add blur, we can change the color, we can flip it around, we can glow it, make it glow. I'm gonna add a glow effect on it, okay? And I'm gonna add a reddish effect right here. You can only view it when you're in the render preview right here, the viewport. This is the last circle right here. Remember that we have different render settings right here to see in different views. You're gonna choose the last one right here, because this one's the one that allows you to see the effects you're working on, right? So the glow effect right here allows you to change the effect right here for the glow. The threshold changes the amount, the area where you're getting the thing right here. Luminance. So luminance will see the brightest colors and make that glow more, and then work its way down. The color will make all the colors glow, which is basically just blur effect, okay? The blend mode, we can click add. I think the add one is the best option to be honest, because that one works the most like real life. The regular one just puts the color on top of it. All right, let's do the add. We can add the sample to make it look smoother. There we go. We can increase the size. Right? We can change how the threshold for this. There we go. It's about good. 0.2 is fine. We added a glow effect. Now let's add a pixelate effect right here. This pixelate effect allows us to add a pixel effect on it, right? And the bigger these numbers are, the more pixelated it is going to get. Oops, 200 is too much. There we go. Let's add 30, 40, 50. There we go. 70. Now, we're getting a little bit anti-aliasing right here because this anti-aliasing check is on. But if we turn it off, we get a solid effect. Look at that. Can even increase it more. There we go. And if we play it, we can see how that looks. What do you guys think? Pretty fast, right? I made one drawing. All I did was use my transform mode for my grease pencil. Let me select my grease pencil so I can actually see the modes we have available. My edit mode, all right, to move it around. And then I just went to my effects panel at the end and I just added a glow effect and a pixelate effect, okay? The effects are not complicated. Look, each one of them only has like a couple of settings and you can definitely explore and see what works with for you, all right? If you have any more questions, you can ask me too. But this is what I'm looking for, a simple character animation effect. And if I do a test render right here, this is what it will be rendered out, okay? So if I click here, render animation, how we did before, there we go. And it did it super quick because we're using the Eve render, right? Now we have your animation here and you have it already numbered, okay? Now, if you want to name it right beforehand, so like when you click render animation, it has the name that you want it to have. Under the output tab, the output location that you want it to be saved at, right? If you click on that little folder icon, you choose the downloads folder, wherever it is that you want to save it at. But here in this filling right here, in this input tab right here, you name it iMonster. That's what I'm naming mine. Click accept. Notice that it adds the name here, right? The last name directory here is the name of your own character. So when you click render animation, let me delete these ones right here that I saved before. You click render animation. There we go. Finish rendering. You go back right here. You see that I named it iMonster right here and the frame number. Okay, they're framed correctly. Okay, so this is ready to be taken into whatever it is that you need to be taken. Let's change the format for a second right here and click render animation so we can render out a video. There we go, super quick. And let's see how that looks. This is just to see how it looks. All right, but click on the cycle right here and we click play. This is how basically our animation will play out when you import it into Unity, basically. I mean, it doesn't look as good here because remember our resolution is low. It's 500 pixels by 350, okay? So it's a low resolution, all right? There we go. So I'm gonna say my file, right? Save, file, save. Last name first. And my correct naming convention for this is, I didn't put one, so let's just call it Sprite character, Sprite char, and save Blender file, and that's what you would upload to Schoology, all right?